Voldemort approached Harry, who crumbled to his feet. To support his one weight before the ropes were untied, Wormtail raised his now silver hand, pulled off the wad of material Jane, Harry, and them. Which one swipe could approach the bones throwing? Harry, to the gravestone. There was a split second, perhaps, where Harry meeting have considered running for it, but his injured leg shock unted him as he stood on the overgrown ground. As the dead otters closed round, forming a tiger circle around him and Voldemort, so that the gaps where the missing dead otters closed has stood were filled. Wormtail walked out the stairs to the place where Cedric's body lay, and returned with Harry's wand, which he thrust right into Harry's hand without looking at him. The Wormtail resumed his place in the circle of waging the others.
You have been taught how to duel, Harry Potter, said Voldemort softly, his red eyes glinting through the darkness. At these words Harry remembered, as those from a former life, the dueling club at Hogwarts. He had attended briefly 2 years ago. All he had learned there was the disarming spell, Expelliarmus, and what use would it be, even if he could, to deprive Voldemort of his wand. When he was surrounded by death asters, outnumbered by at least 30 to 1, he had never learned anything that could possibly fit him for his. Now he was fetching the thing against which Moody had always warned, the unblocked able Avada Kedavra curse, and Voldemort was right. His mother was not here to die for him this time. He was quite unprotected.
If ever Harry might have realized his wand from shock, it would have been then, but instead Kim had clutching his wand tightly, so that the thread of golden light remained unbroken, even though the thick grey ghost of Cedric Diggory— was it a ghost? It looked so solid, emerged in its entirety from the end of Voldemort's wand, as though it was squeezing itself out of a very narrow tunnel. And his shade of Cedric stood up, and looked up and down the golden thread of light, and spoke. "Hold on, Harry," it said. Its voice was distant and a call. Harry looked at Voldemort. His wide red eyes were still shocked. He had no more expected this than Harry had. And very dimly, Harry heard the frightened yells of the Death Eaters, prowling around the edges of the Golden Dome. More screams of pain from the wand, and then something else emerged from its tip. The dense shadow of a second hand, quietly followed by arms and torso. And old man Harry had once seen in a dream was now pushing himself out of the end of the wand, just as Cedric had done. And his ghost, or his shadow, or whatever it was, fell next to Cedric's and survived. Harry and Voldemort and the Golden Web and the connected wands, with mild surprise leaning on his walking stick.
"I said bow," Voldemort said, raising his wand, and Harry felt his spine soar as though a huge, invisible hand was bending him ruthlessly forwards. And the Death Eaters laughed harder than ever. "Very good," said Voldemort softly, and as he raised his wand, the pressure bearing down upon Harry lifted too. "And now you face me. like a man, straight-backed and proud, the way your father died.
Voldemort raised his wand and before Harry, clawed to the unseen to defend himself. Before he could even move, he had been hit again by the crusty cars. The pain was so intense, so unconsuming, that he no longer knew where he was. White-hot knives were pictures every inch of his skin. His head was surely going to burst with pain. He was screaming more loudly what he'd ever screamed in his life. And they stooped. Harry rolled over and screamed to his feet. He was shaken as uncontrollable as wartime had done when his hand had been cut off. He started sideways into the way of watching that Easter, and they pushed him away, back towards Voldemort.
A little break, said Voldemort, the slit like nostrils dilating with excitement. A little puss that shoot, didn't it? Hurry, you don't want me to do that again, do you? Harry didn't answer. He was going to die like Sandrake. Those Paige's red eyes were telling so. He was going to die, and there was nothing he could do about it, but he wasn't going to play along. He wasn't going to about Voldemort. He wasn't going to beg. We didn't train onto the ground, get sort of crack as the cause. We know neither Voldemort snare as the D highs from there. Do you our doll doesn't the me to finish it now? Come you play.
I asked you whether you want me to do that again, said Voldemort softly. Answer me, Imperium. And Harry felt for the third time in his life the sensation that his mind had been wiped off all too. It was bliss, not to think. It was at who he was floating, dreaming. Just answer no. Say no. Just answer no.
I will not say it. A stronger voice in the back of his head. I won't answer. Just answer no. I won't do it. I won't say it. Just answer no. I won't. And these words burst from Henry's mouth. They echoed through the graveyard, and the grim estate was lighted as suddenly as though cold water had been thrown over him. Back rushed the ages that the gracious curse had left all over his body. Back rushed the relation of where he was and what he was facing.
Давай.
You won't, say Voldemort quietly, and the disinterest will not laughing now. You won't, then not Harry. Obedience is a virtue I need to teach you before you die. Perhaps a nice little dose of pain. Voldemort raised his wand, but this time Harry was ready with the reflexes born of his Quidditch training. He flung himself sideways on the ground. He rose beside the marbles headstone of Voldemort's father, and he heard it crack as the curse missed him.
We are not playing hide and seek, Harry, said Voldemort's soft, cold voice, drawing nearer as the Death Eaters laughed. You cannot hide from me. Does this mean you are tired of our duel? Does it mean that you would prefer me to finish it now? Harry, come out. Harry, come out and play. Then it will be quick. It might even be painless. I would not know. I have never died. Harry crouched behind the handstand and knew the end had come. There was not hope, no hell to be had. And as hard Voldemort drew nearer still, he knew one thing only, and it was beyond fear or reason. He was not going to die crouching here like a child playing hide and seek. He was not going to die kneeling at Voldemort's feet. He was going to die upright like his father. And he was going to die trying to defend himself, even if no defense was possible.
If Voldemort could stick his snake-like face around the handstone, Harry had stood up. He gripped his wand tightly in his hand, threw it out in front of him, and threw himself around the headstone facing Voldemort. Voldemort was ready as Harry shouted Expelliarmus. Voldemort cried Avada Kedavra. A draft of grief light issued from Voldemort's was just as a jam of red light blasted from Harry's. They met in mid, and suddenly Harry's wand was vibrating as though electric charge was surging through it. His hand had sit up around it. He couldn't have released it if he'd wanted to, and a narrow beam of light was now connected the two wands, neither red nor green, but bright dupe gold and Harry. Following the beam,
Do nothing, Voldemort cried to the Death Eaters, and Harry saw his red eyes wide with astonishment and what was happening. Saw him fighting to break the thread of light still connecting his wand with Harry's. Harry held on to his wand more tightly, with both hands, and the golden thread remains unbroken. Do nothing unless I command you, Voldemort shouted to the Death Eaters. And then an unearthly and beautiful sound filled the ear. It was coming from every over of the light span vibrating around Harry and Voldemort. It was a sound Harry recognized. Oh, he's heard it once before in his life. Phoenix song.
It was a sound of hope to Harry, the most beautiful and welcoming thing like ever heard in life. He felt as though the song was inside him instant, of dust around him. It was the sound he connected with Dumbledore, and it was almost as though a friend was speaking in his eye. Don't break the connection. I know Harry took the music. I know I mustn't. But no sign had it. Then the thing became much harder to do. His wand began to vibrate much powerful than ever, and now the beam between him and Voldemort timed. To it was as though large bit of light was sliding up and down the trend connection. The wound. Harry felt his wand give a shout under his hand as the light beam began to slide slowly and steadily his way. The direction of the beam, the Mullen, was now taught to him from Voldemort, and he wound his wand shoulder angrily.
As the nearest bit of light moved near to Harry one tip, the wood beneath his fingers grew so hot he feared it would burst into flame. The closer that bit moved, the harder Harry would vibrate. He was sure his wand would not survive contact with it. It felt as though it was about to shatter under his fingers. He concentrated every last particle of his mind upon forcing the bit back, words to words. Voldemort, his ears full of phoenix song, his eyes furious, fixed and slowly, very slowly, the beats grew to a halt and said, just as slowly, they began to move the other way, and it was Voldemort's wonder was vibrating extra hard now. Voldemort, who looked astonished and almost fearful.
One of the beads of light was quivering inches from the tip of Voldemort's wand. Harry didn't understand why his was didn't know what it might achieve, but he now concentrated as he had never done in his life of forcing that it of light back into Voldemort's wand, and smiley, very smiley, it moved along the golden thread. It trembled for a moment, and then it connected. At once, Voldemort's wand began to emit echoing screams of pain. Then Voldemort's red eyes widened with shock, and then smoky head flew out of the tip of it and vanished. The ghost of the hand he had made Voldemort a shout of pain, and then something like laughter began to blossom from Voldemort's wand tip, a great greyish something that looked as though it was made of the solidest, dense smoky. It was a head, now a chest and arms, the torso of Cedric Diggory.
"We both do each other, Harry," said Voldemort, dangling a little bit, keeping his snake-like face upraised to Harry. The nicer must be observed, Dumbledore would like you to show manners, puffed to the Harry. The deaf eyes fell, laughing, against Voldemort. Lipped mouth was smiling. Harry did not both. He was not choking to hit Voldemort. Play with. He bored like him. He was not choking to get him that satisfaction.
He was a real wizard then. The old man set his eyes on Voldemort. "Killed me, that one he did you fight him, boy." But already yet a nighted head was emerging, and this head, grey as the smoky stew, she was a woman's. Harry, both arms shaking now, as he fought to keep his wand still, so hair dropped to the ground and straight up like the arrows. Straighting. The shadow of Bertha Jorkins surveyed the battle before her with wide eyes. "Don't let go now," she cried, and her voice echoed like Cedric's, as though from very far here. "Don't let him get you, Harry. Don't let go."
She ends all the tonight too shadowy. The figures become to pace around the inner walls as the golden web, while the dead eaters flitted around, the owls safe with it, and Voldemort's dead victims whispered the circle, the dolls whispered words and encouragement to Harry, and the hissed word, and Harry could not hear to Voldemort. Now another hand was emerging from the tip of Voldemort's wand, and Harry knew when he saw he would be. He knew as to how he had accident it from the moment when Cedric had appeared from the wand. He knew because the woman appeared, he was the one handed whole of the more than any of the tonight.
The smoky shadow of young woman with long hair to the ground as Beata had done, straightened up and looked at him and Harry, his arms making madly. Now looked back into the ghostly face of him, mother, your father's coming. Me said quietly, he wants to see you, it will be all right. Hold on, and he came first his hand, then his bottle and an idea, haired like Harry, the smoky, shadowy form of James Potter blossomed from the end of Voldemort's wand, fell to the ground and straightened like his wife. He walked close to Harry, looking down at him, and he spoke the same distant, echoing voice as the others, but quietly saw that Voldemort, his face now livid with fear as his victims, proud around him, couldn't hear.
3. When the connection is broken, we will linger for only moments. But we will give you time. You must get to the portkey. It will return you to Hogwarts. Do you understand, Harry? Yes, Harry gasped, fighting now to keep a hold on his wand, which was slipping and sliding beneath his finger. Harry, whispered the figure of Cedric, take my body back, will you? Take my body back to my parents. I will, said Harry, his face screwed up with the effort of holding the wand. Do it now, whispered his father's voice. Be ready to run, it now.
Now, Harry yelled. He didn't think he could have help for another moment anyway. He pulled his wand upwards with an armored wedge, and the golden fang broke. The cage of light vanished. The phoenix soul died, but the shadowy figures of Voldemort's victims did not disappear. They were closing in about Voldemort, shielding Harry from his gaze, and Harry ran as he had never run in his life, shocking to student died actors. Aside as he passed, he zigzagged behind headstones, feeling their curses following him. Handsome hit the Hansen, he was dodging curses and glows, piloting towards Gallery's body, no longer anyway of the pain in his leg, his wall band constructed of that he had to do.
Stun him! He heard Voldemort scream, 10 feet from Cedric. Harry dived behind a marble angel to avoid the jet of red light and saw the tip of its wing shatter as the spells hit it. Gripping his wand more easily, he dashed out from behind the angel. Impedimenta! He bellowed, pointing his was wildly over his shoulder at these eaters running at him. From a muffled yell he thought he had stopped Pat, at last one of them. But there was no time to turn and look. He jumped over the cup and dived as he heard more wand blasts. Backing him, more jets of light flew over his head as he fell, stretching out his hand to grab Cedric's arm. "Stand aside, I will kill him. He's mine," shrieked Voldemort. Harry's hand back closed on Cedric's wrist. One tombstone stood between him and Voldemort, but Cedric was too heavy to carry and the cup was out of reach.